Welcome back, everybody. With Passport Planet taking a few-month hiatus of traveling and exploring the world, I am back at it to show you some amazing content in this video. We're making our voyage from New York to Venice to board the MSC Lirica. And in this video, I'm going to explore the good, the bad, and quite frankly, the ugly. And yes, there are some. Right off the bat, due to horrible storms in the New York area, our flight was delayed and we were stuck for 2 hours in the airplane, which we missed our connecting flight from Rome to Venice, which is no fault to MSC by any means, but without getting into any crazy detail. We had to take a flight from Dubrovnik and then hire a car service to drive us 3 hours south down to Kotor, which we would intercept our cruise ship's first port stop. I will tell you firsthand, we made the best of this horrible first 24 hours by stopping in Dubrovnik quickly, sightseeing the city, and to be honest, the 3-hour drive was spectacular. We went through a lot of strict checkpoints, but the views were breathtaking as we went down the Croatian coast, down by the Bosnian border, and ultimately into Montenegro. And a huge shout out to our driver. She was awesome. She accommodated us, let us stop at as many stops as we wanted to take videos and pictures. And although we missed the whole day at Kotor, we were able to see Dubrovnik, which I think is 10 times more beautiful. And I'm going to do a video on that in the near future. After about 40 minutes going through customs, checking our boarding passes, we finally were able to board our ship. For me, this was a bucket list check mark, as I've always wanted to take a European cruise. So we quickly got up to the top deck to take in the views before we settled into our room. The mountains were beautiful, mixed in with some medieval architecture, and it almost looked like we were in a fort in Norway. We went down to the next level to check out where the pools were, and I figured this was a great time to take this video because there was barely anyone on the ship, as everyone was out in the city and in Montenegro doing some sightseeing and getting some tours in. We navigated our way back down closer to our room, and my first thought was, wow, this ship is really not that hard to navigate at all. Mind you, this is one of the smallest ships MSC has in its fleet, which I'll dive into later. With that being said, it made it extremely easy to get around, but the biggest reason I wanted to do this video was because there's not really any review of the Lirica and what it really has to offer. So if a video like this existed, I would have thought twice possibly of booking this cruise ship, to be honest. And here we are, room 10073, our home for the next 6 days. Mind you, I've only been on one cruise before, which is the Norwegian Joy, that we took to Bermuda, so it's hard to really gauge with this junior balcony suite how it compares to other cruise lines. But I could tell you that this room seemed a little bit bigger than our Norwegian Joy balcony room that we took back in 2023. The bathroom was very spacious, a ton of room. I did not feel claustrophobic at all. When we go into the hallway here, there was ample closet space, enough for at least 3 people. So there was a lot of storage for, putting your clothes in and, your underwear drawer, sock drawer, everything. And they actually really had a nice touch here with a nice bottle of, I believe it was Prosecco champagne. And also they had a nice bar of MSC chocolate waiting to be devoured. Moving on to the rest of the room, again, it felt very spacious. I did not feel cramped at all. Everything was very neat and tidy, but you also can tell that the ship was also a little bit dated to a degree, meaning the rooms, but I'm not zonking it, I'm not making it into a negative thing. It was really, really nice. The teas, the coffee, the placement of ware, the TV everything was really, really beautiful. And also, if anyone was wondering about spending the extra money on upgrading from an interior room to a balcony, here's your proof. 110%. Get the balcony. You will not regret it, especially when you're taking this cruise line, going along the Adriatic Sea and seeing these kind of views. They're breathtaking. I cannot recommend it enough, and you'll realize that it was money well spent. And once my mom and my daughter and I got situated, we wanted to take advantage of hardly anyone being on the cruise ship to go take a look up at top of the deck again and explore. So like I said, this is the main deck. Nothing crazy, nothing over the top like some other massive ships. There are no slides and there's no rides. It offers 2 pools, and sandwiched in between them is is 2 hot tubs right here that you can see. They're constantly packed, and they can only fit up to 8 people at a time, each hot tub. And the lifeguards are very strict about monitoring the limit. Also, what they're very strict about, and I'm not knocking the lifeguards, they do a phenomenal job, is drinking any kind of beverage in the pool or the hot tub area. They'll kindly ask you to get out of the pool with it. And here's the kid area of the pool. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. It's more geared toward younger kids. My daughter's 11, and she absolutely loved it. Out of the 24 ships in the MSC fleet, this is the 3rd smallest ship that they have, so don't expect any major massive buffet lines or buffets in themselves. This reminded me of a typical European buffet that was definitely not Americanized, and after all, this is an Italian cruise line. But I did know what to expect since there wasn't much on the internet or YouTube showcasing what this ship had to offer. So again, taking advantage while everyone was off the ship, I wanted to give an up-close view without any people in the way. The Lirica only had 1 buffet area. It was at the rear of the ship, although it stretched on both sides of the rear. There was nothing really special about it that made me say, wow. It was only open during certain hours, and again, since I took the Norwegian Joy where they had a ton of options in the buffet section, I was really spoiled. They also had it open super late to midnight, I believe. The MSC Lirica has designated times you could eat, and the food options were very limited, and the food was just so-so. On the positive side, though, the buffet areas were always super clean, the presentation was nice, and the employees were always ready to help you with whatever you needed. Just bear in mind that this is, again, a European cruise ship, and I could be wrong by saying this, but in my opinion as an American, the food selection seemed very limited, and again, I'm only comparing this to the Norwegian Joy that I took from New York to Bermuda. Now, I know I sound a little snobby or a bit of a food critic, but if I were to rate the food on the Lirica on a scale of 1 to 10, just the buffet section, between the different options and the quality of the food, I would give it a 6.5. What's really nice, I will say, is that you had a beautiful glass panoramic view while you're eating breakfast, lunch, or even dinner of wherever you were at in Europe. And if there was room and it wasn't that busy, you even had a balcony and you could eat outside, which was really nice. And just a little tip, if you're going to go out for lunch or breakfast, make sure you get there in the very early part of breakfast, or at the tail end of breakfast, or at the tail end of lunch, or at the very, very beginning of lunch, because there's 1,980 passenger capacity and it will get busy. And here's a good prime example of how busy it can get when lunch is being served. And I really don't want to knock the MSC Lirica or give it any negative complaints. But again, the buffet food was not bad, but it also was not the greatest either. Here, they had some great pastries. I pigged out on the pastries. I will tell you that the pastries were phenomenal. And here you can see on the other side of the ship, they had a carving station. They also had some hot foods. And I forced myself to try a lot of different buffet style, but what I was really looking forward to was the specialty dining. The MSC Lirica, again, is very easy to navigate, and especially for children and families. If you're a person who doesn't want one of those mega ships and wants something that's on the smaller side and very family oriented, this is the cruise ship for you. Before we got ready for dinner, I had to find the kids zone and teen club for my daughter. They had a ton of activities for kids every single day, and MSC, I could tell, prized themselves as a family-friendly cruise line. There are wristbands for kids, and they cannot leave that kid zone until they were picked up by a guardian on your boarding card. And here's one example of what they do. This day they did a fun dancing activity, and I will be honest, I was a little nervous because we are on a European cruise ship after all, and there are many different cultures and nationalities with multiple different languages, and there weren't many English speakers. But my daughter, being who she is, was able to find a few girls that were able to talk in English, and they became friends, which was awesome to see. And my daughter is predominantly usually shy with strangers, which is not a bad thing at all, but this got her out of her shell, and I didn't think she was going to like it at first because she is so shy in nature, but she ended up loving it, and she went to the kids club often while we were on that ship for that week. And as each night settled on the Adriatic Sea, the sunsets were absolutely spectacular. One of the nice perks of being on a smaller ship is that you have an amazing view, a 360 view, being on the deck, and it puts things in perspective. Are bigger ships always better? There are no massive slides obstructing any view or anything like that. You have just a beautiful view. And I don't know how many passengers were actually on this cruise ship. the week that we went. Maximum capacity is just shy of 2,000 passengers. It didn't seem overly packed at all, but it definitely made it worthwhile not having it being overcrowded. And I'm sure every major cruise line has this, but this daily itinerary of what was going on in the ship, if we were stopping at a country, it gave you the temperature, a time change if possible, what documents you need to bring, and also explained, for example, that night I had a formal gala wearing your Sunday's best clothes. And as you turn the page, it gave you a breakdown of everything that was going on that day on the Lirica, from sushi making to yoga, ping pong tournaments, silent discos. You weren't left out or given an excuse as to why you missed anything at all during that day. And now moving on to the final parts of my video, I want to explain, since this is not a big ship, there was nothing crazy aboard, no high-end luxury shops at all. You had basic brands and some typical European styling. Unfortunately, you will not find any Louis Vuitton, no Louboutin, no Chanel, or Saks Fifth Avenue on board. And you also won't even find any Rolex, Omega, Panerai, or any of those upper echelon brands at all. You did have a casino, but it was very small. Then again, I don't gamble, so it didn't matter to me. If I were to remember correctly, you had about 3 or 4 different stores. There was clothing, jewelry, a place where you can get alcohol and cigars. And in my opinion, I like the finer things in life, and I've worked very hard for what I have and possess. So not seeing those high-end shops, just a window shop and look around, was a little bit of a bummer. But that, again, that's just my opinion. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys think in the comments below, if the ship would fit your needs, or would you rather have one of those mega ships that has unlimited shopping and entertainment. And here's a little sneak peek of the casino floor. It was very small. It was a small section, and I wanted to take a quick video so everyone can see. And as you can see in the background there was someone waving at me saying I can't video. And I had no idea that was a regulation that you can't videotape in a casino floor on a ship, so I just wanted to take a quick video so everyone can see kind of what it looks like. Now here's where I will praise the MSC Lirica and their dining. We ate at La Bossa, which was our specialty dining restaurant, and we had dinner there pretty much every night and sometimes lunch. I will tell you, the food was spectacular. Between the service and the quality of food and how good it tasted, I give it an 8.8 out of 10. And if you wanted more dessert, they were happy to give you seconds and or thirds. And we sat at the most part at the same table every time, and we had a spectacular view at the rear of the ship watching the waves. And if you're really curious of how good the dessert is, look at my daughter's reaction if you don't believe me. At the 4 to 5 different lounges around the ship, they had live bands playing just about every night. But going on a cruise isn't just always about drinking, eating, and soaking up the rays. They had one theater on the Lirica, and they had shows nearly every night that arrayed from rock and roll, acrobatic performances, to magician shows. And I've seen Cirque du Soleil, I've been to different shows all around the world, and I will tell you that their performances were phenomenal. And I could tell that they worked extremely hard, and I give all the kudos to the performers on the Lirica that work tirelessly every week as new guests arrive. One of my favorites of all the shows was the magician show. I just love magic. I love trying to figure out how they do and pull off certain things. And I believe my mom and daughter loved the performance as well. And I totally recommend, if you were to pick at least one, to see this one. I mean, after all, this is a smaller ship, so there's not a ton of stuff to do. So I would imagine you'd see every one. But if I were to guess and be a betting man, you would probably love this one. And outside the theater, you conveniently had a bar and a lounge area to hang out at nighttime, before the show, or even after the show. And you could listen to some live music before you went about your night, however you chose to do it. Outside on the main deck every night, they had different themed dance parties. And no, there was no age limit. There were people dancing in their 80s, and there were also people dancing in their 20s. And they also had a massive bar on deck to make sure that your legs were nice and loose to party. Also, some nights before dance parties, MSC had awesome entertainers that would dance and get the crowd involved. And this was the only dance party, just so you know, that they would have on the ship is right here. So this is at the point now where we're getting to the end of my review. And I know it's been a long 15 minutes, but I hope my viewers found it very helpful and or interesting. And if you're planning on booking with MSC, the biggest question is the Lirica worth sailing with? And I'll be brutally honest, and this is just my opinion, the best parts of my week-long trip was unfortunately not the cruise ship itself, but all the stops we made along the way. Santorini, Mykonos, Kotor, Montenegro, Ancona, and Venice were all the best highlights. And also visiting Dubrovnik, which was not intentional since we missed our embarkment in Venice due to a 2-hour flight delay in JFK. And I'm not saying the MSC Lirica is a bad cruise ship, it just was not for me. There wasn't a ton of things to do that interested me, and I'm sure that if you ask some people that have taken the Lirica on a Mediterranean trip with a similar itinerary, they would agree that they booked it not for the amenities on the ship, but for all the different countries that the Lirica stopped at. And again, the specialty dining was great. The food was phenomenal and the service was definitely top tier. And if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and leave all your comments below. We had everlasting memories on this week-long journey, and I cannot wait to share with you our stops in Santorini, Mykonos, Dubrovnik, and Venice. This is Passport Planet signing off.